Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever wondered how a company with a huge, world-changing vision actually gets it done? I mean, it's one thing to have a grand plan, but it's something else entirely to turn that into real day-to-day action. Well, today, we're diving into the essential blueprints that bridge that exact gap. They're called functional strategies. Let's get into it. So, let me ask you this. What could a symphony orchestra possibly have in common with a tech giant like Apple or a super efficient budget airline? It might sound like a riddle, but the answer is, well, it's pretty much everything when you're talking about strategy. And this quote right here, it just nails the whole idea. Think about it. A company's main strategy is like the composer's symphony. It's the big, beautiful vision. But that music only comes to life when each section of the orchestra, the violins, the percussion, the brass, plays its own specific part, and they have to be perfectly in sync. While those individual parts, those are the functional strategies. All right, let's pull back the curtain on this conductor's grand plan. In this section, we're going to really understand what these strategies are and why they are so absolutely fundamental to any business out there. So, at its very heart, a functional strategy is just the detailed, actionable blueprint that each department, like marketing or finance, creates for itself. But here's the key, and you've got to remember this. This blueprint isn't just created in a vacuum. Its entire reason for being is to support the company's main goals. To put it as simply as I can, functional strategies are where the rubber meets the road. They're the things that translate that big, ambitious, what we want to do into the practical, on the ground, how we're actually going to do it. Okay, so if the company is an orchestra, who's actually playing the instruments? Let's meet the key sections. These are the core departments that each need their own sheet music, their own unique functional strategy to play their part. First up, you've got marketing. I want you to think of them as the violins. They're carrying the main melody that everyone recognizes. Their strategy is all about how the company talks to its customers, what prices to set, how to promote everything, and where to sell it. They're the ones telling the story that grabs the audience's attention. Then you've got the percussion section. That's operations. They provide the beats, the rhythm that drives the whole thing forward. Their strategy is focused on all the nitty-gritty details of actually producing the goods or services. They are completely obsessed with efficiency, quality, and managing the supply chain so everything runs like a well-oiled machine. And of course, none of this happens for free, right? That's where the finance department comes in. You can think of them as the scorekeepers. Their strategy is all about how to manage the money, how to fund big investments, how to structure the company's capital, and how to manage the cash flow that keeps the lights on and the musicians paid. Next up, we have research and development, or R&D. Now, these folks are the composers, the ones who are always writing brand new music. Their entire strategy revolves around innovation, creating that next big hit product, or a more brilliant process that gives the company its edge for years to come. And finally, you got all these incredible musicians, but who finds them, who trains them and keeps them motivated? That would be human resources, the talent managers. The HR strategy is absolutely critical. It's all about how to recruit the best players, how to develop their skills, and how to keep them inspired to give a flawless performance time and time again. So we've met all these amazing specialized sections. But listen up, because this next part, it's probably the most important piece of this entire explainer. See, it's not enough for each section to play its own part well. They have to play together in perfect harmony. Because what happens when the violins are playing from a totally different sheet of music than the drums? It's not a beautiful symphony anymore, is it? It's just noise. Marketing might promise a feature that operations can't possibly deliver. R&D might invent something brilliant that finance refuses to fund. And this is why integration is everything. Without it, you just get conflicting goals, wasted resources, and a strategy that's dead in the water. To really see how this works, let's look at two completely different business strategies, or, two different symphonies. So, on one hand, a company might choose a differentiation strategy. Think of a luxury car brand. They're all about being unique and high quality. On the other hand, a company might choose cost leadership, like a budget airline, totally focused on being the absolute cheapest option out there. Now look at this. This slide shows how the entire orchestra has to change its tune depending on which symphony it's playing. For the differentiation symphony, the high-quality one, R&D invests a ton in new features. Operations is all about strict quality control. Marketing builds a premium brand. And HR goes out and recruits highly skilled creative specialists. But for the Cost Leadership Symphony, everything flips on its head. R&D focuses on process changes to cut costs. Operations becomes ruthless about efficiency. Marketing shouts about low prices, and HR recruits for speed and efficiency in standardized jobs. Do you see? Every single function is perfectly aligned to the exact same goal. That is harmony. So, as we bring our performance to a close, let's boil all of this down into the most important takeaways you should remember from this whole thing. Okay, so first, functional strategies are the practical how-to guides for every single department. Second, they are the absolutely vital link that turns a big, lofty vision into actual, concrete actions. And third, and this is the big one, true success depends on perfect integration. Every single department has to be playing in harmony, reading from the very same musical score. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you look at your own organization, or maybe a company you really admire, ask yourself this. Is their orchestra playing a beautiful, coordinated symphony, or is it just a collection of really talented sections all making a whole lot of noise? The answer to that question, well, it reveals everything you need to know about their strategy. Thanks for tuning in.